Afternoon. I call to order the board meeting, GCC, on July 23rd, 2024. Welcome, everyone. Roll call. Mr. Mark Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick is absent at this time. Mr. Jack Turner.
Present.
Lily Campbell present. 4 board members present and accounted for. Well, welcome, welcome. It seems as if we just did this not too long ago, and here we are back again. Welcome to those of you who are with us presently and those who are watching us virtually. We're so happy to see you, and we hope that you had a chance to get a little rest. Not much, it seems, but we're so glad to see Cabinet present and all of the administrators, so thank you for being here with us today. So with that, we will get into our board meeting. Do we have public comments for today?
We do not have any public comments.
No public comments. And with that, we will move into the superintendent's update. Welcome, Mr. Sample. We're glad you're with us this evening.
Great. Thank you, Madam President and members of the board, and to everyone, good afternoon. And I think I would like to officially say welcome to the new school year, or Happy New Year, however we do that here. But we are really excited to kick off our school year. I will tell you, as part of my report tonight, is today we spent most of our morning with our administrators, welcoming them to the new school year with our admin retreat, which we had a lot of, you already see a picture up there of some of the work that our administrators did today as we welcomed them to the new school year. Today was really about setting priorities for the new year. Had the opportunity to share with them in terms of the state of the GCC, where we're going. Mr. Coy spent some time going over what we call a success audit, looking at some of our key areas. And as we move into tomorrow, we'll have some time with Mr. Elliott, who's going to look at some of the positives or wins for our staff. Mr. Taylor is going to be working and sharing with them some of the legal and legislative, and then Dr. Gold is also going to be sharing with some of our professional learning, MTSS, and AI. So a lot of great work that's happening during our admin retreat. We'll share more about that later. Summer school, we really had a successful summer school session this year. Ms. Joy, how many students did we have? Somewhere in the...
Close to 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000.
So 2,000 students in our summer programs, expanded learning, as well as our partnerships with YMCA, our local park and rec districts. Really a great opportunity to do this. Something else I'd like to highlight is last week we had the first ever GCC Alumni Network movie night. This was led off by our communications team, as well as in partnership with our community engagement team. Julia and Maisha did a great job of pulling together our alumni to come to the theater, have a movie night. As the board knows, one of your main kind of priorities have been, how do we re-engage our alumni back into the GCC? So this was a great opportunity to have some of our alumni, one, plan it, but also attend and just kind of be there. In addition to that, we also had information regarding financial planning classes that will be offered to our students and our alumni free of charge. So looking forward to them having that opportunity to get some financial literacy classes. Our cabinet team, we had our retreat in organizational planning. You'll see us there. We were hosted by our good friend and partner, Margaret Fortune, and the Fortune School of Education. Our group was facilitated by Thrive. Shelley and Rob came and did some great work with us as we also looked at organizational priorities, coherence across the organization. So looking forward to sharing more of that as we go through with the board. I was waiting for Melissa, but Adam, if you'll advance my slide. So board, I want to also update you on the status of our COA Dudley C, our CalFit building, as we are quickly coming to that deadline of July 31st. You'll see quite a bit of work has been done to get us to this place. Quite a bit of work still left to be done, but our contractors have assured us that we will be good to go July 31st. And so I know Director Turner had the opportunity to go through and walk the facility earlier today, and maybe during his board comments, he'll share more about that, or I'm shaking over here to... All right. But really, we are excited about this and looking forward to, at some point, having a ribbon-cutting event, at which time we will invite the board. And then the final item I'd like to share is, on this past Sunday, Director Terakov and myself had the opportunity to visit the Spring of Life Church, which is one of our largest Ukrainian churches here in the Sacramento area, just again to spend time talking about Gateway Community Charters, our Portrait of a Graduate, the work that we're doing to support our community and our families. And we even had individuals come up and talk to us about, how do I get a job with you guys? And we're like, absolutely, here's Sergey's cell phone number. Call him. Hiring now. So again, looking for ways to expand. This was an outgrowth of the superintendent's faith leaders group. One of the pastors invited for us to come and talk about education at their church. And that is our report.
Oh, thank you. Board members? We now have 5 members present. All right. Any other comments, anything? Thank you for your hard work. Again, as we always say, we appreciate your efforts that you're doing with the community and with the organization. So thank you. All right, we are now moving into our study session. California Community School Partnership Program Planning Grant Update. Oh, that's you, sir. All right.
Good evening, dear GCC board. It's not on, or is it? All right. Well, good evening, dear GCC board, Superintendent Sample, Cabinet. Thank you for this opportunity to update you on Community School Partnership Program. One of the previous board meetings last school year, I did give you an update on planning stage. We're gonna, I'm gonna tell you what, where we're at with the planning and where we're moving with this. So just to remind what the California Community School Partnership Program supports schools' effort to partner with community agencies and local government to align community resources to improve student outcomes. These partnerships provide an integrated focus on academics, health, and social services, as well as youth and community development and community engagement. So community schools are designed to support all aspects of child's life by serving as neighborhood hubs. So hopefully our school would be neighborhood hubs to strengthen families and improve community health. So located in the neighborhoods, the idea is that our families will have convenient access to healthcare, mentoring, expanded learning programs, and adult guidance in the nurturing environment. Next, please. Our vision was developed by GCC Community School Steering Committee, and it is GCC vision is that the community school will coordinate community resources, work in partnership with children, families, and community partners. The GCC Community School Partnership Program will strengthen, pardon my accent, I have a hard time pronouncing this word, and expand educational possibilities. The community school program at our schools will lead to better student outcomes, general health improvements for the students and families, as well as for the neighborhood where schools are located. Additional resources for students and families will come as a result, and new opportunities for growth and more opportunities in workforce and economic development will be created. Next. So during our planning stage, we have completed needs assessments, multiple needs assessments, where we got directly engaged with our stakeholders, with families, with students, parents, staff, teachers, as well as community members in various ways, as well as we contracted one of our partners to do also a general needs assessment for the area where the schools are located. So as a result, we have developed community school plans for each of the GCC school site. And then each site has its own steering committee that includes, again, all the stakeholders, which would be administration, teachers, staff, students, and families. We have submitted an application for Community School Partnership Program Implementation Grant, and luckily California Department of Education actually awarded us, the GCC schools. We had 3 applications that will include all of our schools. They were divided on 3 grant applications. So one was for CCCS. It was the Consortium of Futures High School, which include 5 schools, and then we also have 3 SALAs. So all 3 consortiums received an award. So we are expecting to get an award letter from CDE in any day. But our projected funding, actually that was on during the board meeting, it was $11.4 million in funding that our schools will receive in the next 5 years. Next, thank you. So the one thing I'd like to highlight is that, during the needs assessment, there were some needs that were overlapping, and I asked my team to kind of like put together one slide where you guys can see what the needs are. Actually, those needs are universal for all of our school sites, and then there's also site-specific needs. So for family, staff, and students, emotional and mental health support and wellness programs were identified, as well as language and cultural support. For parents, it was parent resource center, parent workshops, family events and activities, as well as ESL classes for parents. For students, it was assistance with job skills, professional training, and job search, as well as medical, dental, and vision care, access to those benefits, classes on healthy relationship and resolving conflicts. Staff indicated that academic support programs, mentorship programs, as well as professional development opportunities. So this is not a full inclusive list. We have more information. This is just kind of the needs that came as universal at all the school sites. So at this point, we are expecting to receive a word letter and move forward with implementing this program, and kind of take those needs that are identified, as our guide. Hopefully, we can have resource center sometime soon, and hire some staff that will focus on this particular program. And at this point, I'd like to open up for questions, but I'm sorry, before I do, I'd like to affirm multiple individuals who work hard and help with this program. So one would be our superintendent Sample, who personally was involved in reviewing and giving feedback on those applications and plans, as well as the assistant superintendent Maury Elliott. Community engagement specialist Maisha Britt, Dr. Paulina Morozova-Diep, as well as from CCCS, we had Christina Roberts, who was very heavily involved. She was coordinating this program for CCCS. Thank you, and now, if you have any questions, dear board members.
Board members?
Sergey, just wondered, are you planning, going into this new school year, to offer more parent workshops?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. With community school program grant or without. So yes, there's definitely identified need that we need to fulfill.
And how do we go about trying to identify what those needs might be? Do we survey parents, or
Yes.
how do we go about doing
We have done surveys. They're Google form based that we send a link to each school site. Actually, each school site has individual Google form, so we know which school site those parents are from. So there's like multiple choice, as well as there's open-end questions that they can select other and write in. So during those workshops, during those surveys, multiple topics were raised. One of the topics was they want to know more about resources, various resources in the community, about like job search resources, career exploration resource for parents. I'm talking about parents right now. Then, students, we probably include middle school and up. So, elementary obviously was not involved, but middle school and particularly high school, we had students also responding to those surveys. So those are surveys, interviews, one-on-one meetings, as well as steering committee meetings where we invited parents and other stakeholders.
Okay, and just one last question. So I know that a couple of the schools last year did these outside third-party community partners actually had tables, and it was primarily in the school setting where there were students who had access to that. I'm just wondering how we publish that out to the parents as well, because a lot of those things connect back to the family.
Absolutely.
So just curious, how do we go about doing that?
What we typically do if we have an event of this kind, where there's resources and information for parents. So we employ Parent Square. We also work with the site to make sure that there's the word going out at the site. We use social media, and some of the school sites, they have Viber groups, so we also post it on the Viber group.
Okay, and site council is
School, absolutely. School site council, I would say, very heavily involved with we come to them typically and give them updates and
Okay.
trying to get them involved in the community school program. Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for your report, but when you talked about students and medical, dental, and vision care, what does that look like in terms of when the funding comes in? Are we waiting for that?
So it's an excellent question, Madam Chair. So through community school programs, so there will be an opportunity to provide some of the direct services, but then it's more about connecting our families, students, and community members living in the neighborhood with existing resources. For example, we probably won't be able to purchase a health insurance for a student or for a child, but we can make a referral, and with the staff that we're going to bring in with this funding, so the staff will work, I'll call it like case management, wraparound case management. So they will be able to actually work directly with that student, with that family, and say, okay, well, what do you guys need? Are you qualifying for medical, or is it healthy family? Is this other programs, subsidized health insurance programs that we can connect you with? And then that's kind of our expectation on this. But in some instances, it could be like, for example, ESL classes, we're thinking if we can contract someone to do it on site, that would be in-house. So that would be an example of direct services.
Yeah.
So it's going to be both.
Good, good.
I hope I answered your question. Yeah.
You did, because I was just wondering what it would look like and how you would go about providing the services.
Yeah, there are some restrictions that CDE put in, like for example, like if someone is struggling with housing, we can't just use grant money and write a check for a deposit. Unfortunately, that's not an option, but we can have our staff working with the housing agencies and other service providers in the area to help that family, kind of like hands-on to help them with the problem.
And one of the things I think I heard you say is that you will be hiring more staff
Yes.
in this program.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And Madam President, on tonight's agenda, you'll see that we have job descriptions that are called community schools outreach.
Yes.
Outreach specialists
and then community school program specialists.
Yeah, so
And so those are the
those
people that
positions will,
Yes.
Thank you.
The other thing that Director Terekov
Thank
and
you.
myself have spoken about in terms of this funding is the ability to also help us with some of our chronic absenteeism by being able to push more into the families, whether it's home visits, whether it's connecting them to resources. We hope that that'll also help with our chronic absenteeism efforts.
Okay, that answers a lot of questions, when I read.
So hopefully we'll have more
job
boots on the ground,
descriptions and what
to
have
do
you,
this.
so.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Any other comments or questions?
Sorry.
Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
All this, I have this on the community
get your speaker.
community partnership and strategic communication.
Okay.
Can he probably help you with that, some of that?
Thank you.
I got this from, one of those.
Yes, absolutely. I'm familiar with that agency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Hearing no other questions or comments at this point, we are now moving to consent agenda items, which is very exciting to me tonight. And for the audience, I will read those consent agenda items. Adoption of GCC Board meeting minutes, 6/18/24. Personnel consent agenda. Purchases over $30,000. Disposal and surplus technology. Job descriptions, new and revised. Gateway International School overnight field trip to Yosemite, 3/26/25. Revised curriculum list, COA Middle School. SAVA, SCUSD Lisa Amendment on 5580 Power End Road, and board policy revisions. These are the items under the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Move approval?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Mark Anderson?
Yes.
Harry Block?
Yes.
Bruce Mandrek?
Yes.
Jack Turner?
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. And now at this point, I would like to pull out personnel consent agenda items for comments. We are very pleased, very, very pleased Can I say that one more time? Very pleased on the consent agenda items to welcome 2 new assistant superintendents, Mr. Maury Elliott and Ms. Joy DeCoy. Yeah. We are so happy. I have to share with the board, I was on the final interview. And when we got finished with the final interview, I looked at Mr. Sample, and I said, I don't know what we're going to do. They both are great. They both have different skill sets. We need them both. And he looked at me and said, yeah, I guess we do. We used to have 2 superintendents, assistant superintendents, so why not now? And we both agreed, if the board approves, that's what we're going to do. So we are so happy to welcome you. We're so happy that you're bringing those skill sets that we need, both K-8 and high school. So thank you. Thank you for your interview techniques. Thank you for your understanding of what this organization is all about. And we're so happy. We also have another person in our midst with a different title, our Chief Learning Officer, Dr. Gold. And we know that you're going to be doing some wonderful things with professional development and other things that come under there. So thank you so much for your consenting to this and wanting to take this on. We appreciate you. We just appreciate all of you. We keep building. Yes, yes, yes. We are building just an absolute fabulous set of people to work with this organization. We had one more person who came in, but I guess we'll have to wait until next meeting to talk about him, but he's returning. So we're so happy to see Mr. Tim. He's not here, but for the minutes, we're so glad he's back. He's a favorite of mine, too. So thank all of you. Thank you for the hard work that you have done and the hard work we know that you're going to continue to do to keep moving our organization forward. We're just so thrilled. Any other comments, board members? Anyone?
I do have one.
You? Anything, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I just want to echo definitely the sentiments of what you just shared with the audience. You know, one of the things that was tasked with me from the board was to look at the structure of the organization, and as we moved out of transition, what was necessary to take us to the next level. And so I really am proud of both Joy and Maury, who I know 1,000% are definitely part of what will take us to that next level. Also at that same time was kind of the charge from the board to say, how can we start building internal capacity to be able to lead our own professional learning, our own internal growth. And so I am happy about the work that Dr. Gold will be doing in that area to begin to look at how we best support and create the tools necessary to have quality instruction. And then Mr. Taylor here, he has really a little bit of an adjustment or a twist on his title to Chief of Staff and Strategy. Really being that person who will help kind of organize, coordinate, as well as continue to help us with our outward-facing responsibility and how we reach deeper into our community, both within the political sphere as well as the educational. So I couldn't be happier for the team that we have, and obviously Elmira's been part of the team all along, so really proud of this group and looking forward to what we have ahead of us as a collective group, but want to definitely congratulate the 2 assistant soups on their promotion and move up into this very critical role. Also, we have, and I'm going to ask Dr. Diego if he will come and introduce our new vice principal. I started to say vice president, but our new vice principal. I know Jada's like, I'm vice president. Our new vice principal at COA Middle School. So Dr. Diego.
All right, good to see you all again. So it is my honor, my privilege, my pleasure to introduce our new vice principal at COA Middle School, Jade Johnson. She's worked in the community outside of GCC, but we're really excited. There you are. So here she is.
Hiding in the back. It's me.
And I just would like to introduce her to the team, to the board members.
I'm very happy to be here. And since you called me vice president, I'll definitely come back.
Okay, there we have it.
Well, thank you and welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
so glad you're here, and you could not be in a better organization than GCC. So we are so happy that you have chosen to be here with us as a vice principal.
Thank
And we
you.
know great things going to happen at COA Middle.
Yep, new phase. All right.
New faces. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President.
Do I see another one? All right, we are now continuing with our agenda. And our next item is under curriculum instruction, adoption of written improvement plan to support the renewal of Futures High School.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So Mr. Taylor will share this item with the board. Mr. Taylor.
Hello, board. It's great to see you all. Happy summer. We have a charter renewals that we've been talking about for quite a while, that we're going to have 5 charter renewals coming online here in the next few months. So Superintendent Sample and I have been working with the district to try and figure out what's the timing of all of those. What we're going to lay out tonight for you is the first 2 of those charters that will be submitted, which is Higher Learning Academy and Futures. And then in a couple of months, we'll come back with the other 3 Twin Rivers charters that we'll be submitting. So we're able to work that out. I will go through some of the legislative changes. So Melissa, if you can go to the next slide. So since the last time charters were renewed, which feels like a million years ago in charter landscape, with all the pandemic delays and all of the years of extensions, we're really now seeing the first time that the AB 1505 changes. So remember back in 2020 when AB 1505 was passed, this is really the first time, or 2019, this is really the first time that we're seeing a lot of charters going through this renewal process under the revised Ed Code 47607.2. And what that code created was a new structure for renewals where it tracked charters into 3 groups: high, middle, and low. And so we went through this, we talked through this a little bit in the spring about where our schools fell in these groups. One of our schools that's up for renewal, Futures, fell in the low performing group based on their data primarily from pre-pandemic. This is a lot of data that started in 2018-19, but actually from 21-22 as well. And what the requirement under Ed Code 47607.2 requires is that the governing board can only authorize the charter for 2 additional years. Twin Rivers is not even allowed to give more than a 2-year renewal if a school is on a low track. In order to qualify, even if you're on the low track, in order to qualify for that reduced term, the charter must demonstrate that it's actively engaging in meaningful steps to address the underlying causes of the low performance as outlined in a comprehensive written plan. What we're bringing to you today is that comprehensive written plan that needs to be adopted by the governing board of the charter school. And what this shows is the steps that have already been taken and the steps that are going to continue to be taken to improve the academic outcomes of the students. So I want to affirm Dr. Gold. Dr. Gold was instrumental in helping us put this plan together in terms of how the data looks now and what we anticipate the changes that are being made to the plan in order to keep moving the school forward. So next slide, please, Melissa. So one of the ways that we tell our story around data is what is our SBAC data, all of our CASP data. So this is preliminary data. The state data has not yet come out publicly. We can share our own data all we want. We just don't have any comparisons to the state or the district. But what we can see here is that Futures is making exceptional growth in the 23-24 school year. So the year we just finished, Futures has made over 6% growth in ELA in a single year and over 10% growth in math. So the thing about this charter renewal requirements is it's all based on data that's already in the can. It's already happened. GCC is a high-functioning organization. Notice there were struggles at the school wanting to adjust things and made some changes which resulted in these kinds of growth. So the plan that we are putting forward to you, board, right now is mostly things that were already done in 23-24, and we want to double down on them in 24-25 to continue to see these kinds of results. So we'll be bringing this plan really has, next slide, Melissa, has two major components in the action steps. First is sort of a list of leadership action steps. And as you saw in the plan, there's a whole series of leadership changes. There's trainings. We've hired a second vice principal. We've brought all these partnerships in line to really make sure that the leadership at the school is all on board, pushing towards high student outcomes. And second, we've made in the plan and changes that have already been occurring at the school are in the academics. So focusing on attendance, really trying to address that chronic absenteeism issue, focusing on school culture and climate, developing a school learning plan that the school will follow this plan in order to achieve these outcomes, and then really digging deep and implementation of multi-tier systems of support to reach all the students where they are. So that is what the plan that you've already been provided, sort of at a high level, covers. And Melissa, next slide, goes through the timeline. So tonight, I think it's still the July 23rd is when the GCC Governing Board is presented with this plan. July 31st, upon approval tonight, if you all vote to approve this plan and the Futures Charter, which is coming up later in the agenda, we will submit those plans to Twin Rivers Unified on July 31st. September 17, Twin Rivers Unified will hold a public hearing on both the plan and the charter, so they'll be discussing that at their board meeting. And then ultimately on November 5th of 2024 will be their vote on the charter and the plan. So that's kind of the timeline of what we have before us. The first step is, any comments or anything on the plan, we would recommend approval on the plan, and then we will go forward and submit it in a week and a half to Twin Rivers. I think that, Melissa, next slide, I think that was all I got.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, questions on the plan or questions on the process, and then we can try and answer those.
Okay, questions, board members?
Does this require a motion?
Yes.
I move approval of it.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay, we have a approval and a second. Discussion. Any discussion? Yes.
Just one question for you, Matt. So when we get to the point of getting approval and now Twin Rivers is voting on it, in the past, we have gone to those meetings. Is that something that you're going to encourage us to do?
I think so. I think we'll work through, and Superintendent Sample, if you want to add to this. I mean, I think, we're going to have 5 charters for approval. You'll see in the timeline when the next set of charters we bring to you in November, on that November 5th night, is actually going to be the final vote for HLA and Futures, but it's also going to be the public hearing for COA, SAVA, and CCCS. So that's going to be 5 items all about Gateway on their board agenda. So it's probably going to be one of those that would be a very interesting meeting to attend if you're able.
And I will add to this, Director Anderson, is that we have been working collaboratively with the district and the superintendent to look at timelines. So their initial timeline had us a little bit later in the year, but we felt that it was more important to go earlier, so we have enough time. Should there need to be an appeal to the County Board of Education, we have enough runway to be able to have that appeal. But the district has been very collaborative in this entire process, so we anticipate that continuing. But yes, it will be one of those Tuesday nights where we'll all get together and we'll sit in the boardroom.
And then there'll be, as Superintendent Sample mentioned, the potential for an appeal. So if the charter were to be denied, this board has the right to then appeal that to the Sacramento County Office of Education, which then is another timeline, but that would put that appeal in February, was when the Sacramento County, at the latest point they could vote, would be in February. So it gives us plenty of runway if that's the direction that ends up needing to go.
Okay, hearing no other questions or comments, I will do roll call. All in favor? Mark Anderson?
Yes.
Harry Block?
Yes.
Bruce Mandrick?
Yes.
Jack Turner?
Yes.
Lily Campbell? Yes. So, this has been approved.
Thank you.
And passed. Thank you. All right, the next item is under facilities. Charter School Facilities Program Memorandum of Understanding, Grant Agreement and Funding Agreement, COA Middle School.
Yes, Madam President, so this item is, as you know, we've been working on the grant funding for COA Middle School, and so we now have moved to the space where we have the MOU, as well as the grant agreement and the funding agreement from the OPSC. There we go, Office of Public School Construction. And so this is just the next step as we continue down that path. If you have questions, Assistant Superintendent Elliott is available to answer.
You have, Mr.
I move
Turner?
approval.
Oh, move approval?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and second. Any other comments or discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call. Mark Anderson?
Yes.
Harry Block?
Yes.
Bruce Mandrick?
Yes.
Jack Turner?
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. That item has been approved and passed. Thank you. Okay, the next item, Central Administration approval of Futures High School Charter Renewal Submission to Twin Rivers Unified School District. And it's you again?
Yeah, it's me.
Thank you. All right.
We'll, it hasn't been that long since we talked about the earlier part, but just as a reminder, Futures is identified as a low-track school. That, with that plan now approved, we can now move forward to seek renewal for the maximum of 2 years. We're submitting the charter for a renewal period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027. We will be submitting that, if the board approves, on July 31, 2024, hearing in September, vote in November. So we are requesting authorization from the board for the submission of this charter petition, pending any changes by legal. So you'll see in the board item itself is that we are requesting, if there are any last minute changes that legal needs to make before we submit it, that be part of your motion. And any questions on the charter? The charter petition itself went through a iterative process with the school. We've been working on this since, I started in January, and we've been working on this since I got here, getting feedback from the site, them crafting their data story to tell all about the school. We've updated everything in terms of legal, but and making sure that all the new laws since the last time this charter was approved in 2017, 2018 was when it was last approved, is in there. So we've done a pretty substantial edit and review.
Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
Any other discussion? Yes.
Just a question for you, Matt. So assuming we get approved for this 2-year period of time, and we obviously improve our results, would the next opportunity be a 5-year renewal?
Yeah, so the way, if the school moves off of the low track status, then they can authorize up to 5 years. If the school moves to the high track status, which actually isn't impossible with where the school's results would be heading in 2 years, then they could authorize up to 7 years. So the AB 1505 had a carrot and a stick. The carrot was you can get, if you're a high track school, for example, GIS is a high track school, one of the top performing charter schools in the state. If it stays at the high track, when we bring that to you, it can go up for 7 years. So futures could move into that space in the next 2 years. So we could go for 7, we could go for 5, and then if they stay in the low track but they're making progress, the district can authorize another 2 years. Kind of a watch. It gives them multiple bites at the apple of like, okay, we're gonna give you the next 2 years and we're gonna watch, and then we'll see how you go. So.
Thank you. Another question. So we're in this 2-year mode, and we will get updates from Vicente or others, on how we're progressing.
Absolutely.
On that.
Yeah, so our plan is that this plan that will be out here is to give periodic updates to the board on how the plan implementation is going, and then Twin Rivers in their oversight will be looking at our plan, they'll be looking at our LCAP, and they'll be saying, how is it progressing based on those two things. So we expect, we've seen this a lot recently with Twin Rivers, is a lot more involvement and oversight. So we expect that they're going to be looking at this plan and checking in. Hey, Director Elliott, how's it going? Or Assistant Superintendent Elliott, how's this going with Vicente? So all those pieces will be part of the process.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, do we have any other comments? We have a motion on the floor.
It says director on here.
Okay, roll call if we have no other comments. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block,
Yes.
Bruce Mandrick,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Billy Campbell, yes. So that item has been approved as submitted.
Great, thank you.
Okay, then we're at item 2 under central administration, approval of Higher Learning Academy Charter School Renewal Submission to Twin Rivers Unified School District. So
Yes,
that's
so
yours too.
thank you for another presentation around Higher Learning Academy. This school is considered a middle track school. So in that 3-tiered bucket, they're in the middle bucket, which means they're eligible for a 5-year renewal. No more, no less, so it has to be 5. In the middle track schools, there's a presumption of renewal. So the way the law writes is, unless the district can make a finding of fact that the students would be better served somewhere else, then there's a presumption of renewal. So it's a very high bar that they have to reach to non-renew this charter, which is great news. And the HLA has been doing a great job with a lot of their students making good progress. There's room to improve, but there has been definitely some great growth. And in the petition that you're reading, when we're telling their data story, there's been some really exciting things happening, particularly around their English learners at Higher Learning Academy. So this charter submission is for 2025 through 2030. We would follow the same schedule as we will with futures that submit to Twin Rivers at the end of July, hearing in the middle of September, final vote in November. And we would request authorization of the submission of the charter to Twin Rivers on behalf of Higher Learning Academy, pending any legal edits that need to be made between now and July 31st. And any questions on the HLA charter or that process?
Any questions? We received quite the information, which was very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Charters of only 130 pages now.
I know.
It's gotten so big.
When I open up and I go, oh, we go, okay, here we go. All right, so I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion, comments on this item? Hearing none, seeing no hands, roll call. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block,
Yes.
Bruce Mandrek,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. So that item has been approved, and we are very glad that they are 5-year. We really are in the
Yes.
middle range.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay. All right. The next item is the GCC under Personnel Employee Handbook Revised. Is that you two?
Yeah, Mr. Taylor, you want to just stay? I'm comfortable right here. It's all
You're
good.
comfortable right there, okay?
So.
And we did receive that information also.
Good. So we
with
wanted to do
changes.
just a very quick summary, and I wanted to affirm Director Berrigan and all the work that her team has done in putting together this handbook. There have been so many changes in law that trying to keep up with all of this employment law changes are a big job. And so we put together this summary of changes document that's here in the slides of really the high-level changes that were in the document that you saw. This is also given to each of our principals. They're given the employee handbook along with the table of changes so that they know what are the sections that I really need to learn? Because I've seen the handbook for 10 years. What are the sections I need to look at? So, we've added a couple of categories based on legal review around job use of cannabis and marijuana as a protected category based on state law. We've added conduct, that any rules of conduct around threatening safety, personal safety, or employee welfare, that if an employee engages in that conduct towards another employee, that is clearly prohibited and subject to disciplinary action. And if you go to the next slide, Melissa, sort of the middle section of the document, added increased definitions around what is confidential information. And then in terms of the board, there's a board communication section. We've updated the online agenda link so employees know exactly where they can watch these meetings every month. We've added information around criminal background checks, about immediate reporting of arrests and charges or convictions. We've added changes to the attendance and absence policies. If an absence is due to illness for more than 3 days, we've changed it to now 5 consecutive days, it requiring a doctor's note instead of 3 consecutive days. We've also added clarity around the vacation policy for employees that are eligible to receive vacation pay, which is a subset of employees that are GCC non-exempt full-time classified employees who are assigned a 261 workday calendar. So there's a carve-out for those employees. We've updated accrual options and caps and maximum uses around following California law around sick leave. And then updated the policies around salary schedule movement, years of service, and then conflict of interest updates to the policy as well. So that is the summary of changes, and we are asking for board approval on the revised handbook.
Move approval.
All right.
I'll second.
Second, we have a second here. Comments, discussion, questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call. Okay. Mr. Anderson, Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block,
Yes.
Bruce Mandrek,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. So that item has been approved unanimously. Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor, for all of your hard work. We really appreciate it. Okay, we are now down to board comments. Board comments at this point? Any board comments? I guess they're said all they have to say. Thank you so much, all of you, for all of the work that you brought to us tonight. And now I am announcing that we will be going into closed session. Closed session conference regarding real estate negotiations pursuant to Government Code 54956.8. So we will now break for closed session, and we will come back after the closed session item. Okay. back from closed session, and the action was taken was that the board gave staff the okay to go on and to look at the negotiations for real estate. So that is what we concluded tonight. And now, with that, announcements of next board meeting. And board members, I want to call your attention to, you have a sheet in front of you that was put on your table, but please note the back-to-school GCC-wide event, August the 6th, starting at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10:30 at the San Juan High School
Yes.
facility, which is on Greenback. So please bring that to your attention. And the next board meeting is,
August 20th is going to be the retreat.
the retreat.
Any hope of holding it at a location other than here? It's just nice for a change.
So I know we have looked at some of the others. Sierra Health Foundation is not available, but we will work on that for the mid-year.
Appreciate it.
But our welcome back retreat will be here in the beautiful palatial, I don't know what we're going to officially call the room.
I think you're telling me it's going to be here.
It's going to be here. Yeah, I was trying to get to a better way to say.
Good food, that's right, yeah. Also, on the 6th, guys, there's a lunch and ice cream with the superintendent, where we go into the schools, take ice cream. So those who are available, if you can make it, as we did last year, it was a great time. It was really a lot of fun. So I know I will be there, so, for sure. All right, anything else for the good of the organization? Closing comments? Any closing comments, anyone? Again, yes.
It was a very short summer.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. It's definitely a short summer. We were back in full swing. And again, just for the record, congratulations to all of the new people, new job titles. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Not new people, but new job titles. We're so glad that you're here. So, that's it, I think. And now I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
Take care.
Thank you.